I'm glad to have you here. Follow my story until the end and comment the city you're watching from. After I dropped my daughter at the airport, our housekeeper called and said, "Mrs. Foster, please check the cameras. Don't go home." I watched the footage and saw the man I'd been married to for 23 years standing on our driveway, smiling while a woman prepared evidence to frame me. I was so shocked I nearly fainted. That camera footage saved my life. Without it, I'd be in prison for a crime I didn't commit. The fog rolled in thick that morning, January 28, 2026. I gripped the wheel of my Honda CR-V as we headed toward Portland International Airport. Rebecca sat beside me silent. My 22-year-old daughter hadn't said a word since we left the house. "Sweetheart, are you excited about Barcelona?" She nodded without looking at me. Her eyes were red like she'd been crying. "Rebecca, honey, talk to me." "Nothing, Mom. Can we just—" "Not right now. When did we become strangers?" 3 months ago, she'd been so excited about the exchange program. Now she couldn't even look at me. We pulled into PDX just after 7. Rebecca grabbed her backpack before I'd even stopped. "Rebecca, wait." She paused, hand on the door. "See you, Mom." No hug, no I love you. Just those 3 words. She disappeared into the crowd, her red backpack swallowed by the terminal. 22 years of being her mother, and I couldn't even get a goodbye. I merged onto Highway 26, heading home to Skyline Boulevard. 40 minutes through the hills west of Portland to the house I'd designed myself. The house Jack and I had built together. My phone buzzed. "Thomas Rivera, our housekeeper for 12 years. "Thomas, everything okay?" His voice came through shaky. "Mrs. Foster, you need to check the security cameras. Right now." "What, Thomas? What happened?" "I can't explain over the phone. Check the driveway camera from this morning, 6:45. And don't come home. Not yet. Find somewhere safe first." The line went dead. I pulled into a park-and-ride lot, hands shaking as I opened the Secure Home app on my phone. We'd installed cameras 2 years ago after neighborhood break-ins. Jack had insisted. I scrolled to 6:45 a.m., right after Rebecca and I left. The video loaded. My blood turned to ice. There was my Honda CR-V in the driveway. I'd left it yesterday because of a strange noise. I'd driven Jack's sedan this morning. 3 people stood next to my car, 2 men in dark jackets, and a woman in a black suit with red hair. Betty Thornton, the legal consultant from Jack's firm. I watched mouth dry as Betty crouched beside my car. One man handed her a black package the size of a shoebox. She slid underneath the driver's side. 90 seconds later, she emerged. The package was gone. She took 3 photos with her phone driver's side bumper license plate. One man laughed. The other spoke loud enough for the mic to catch. "Done. She's finished. Just like he wanted." Just like he wanted. I switched to the front porch camera. 6:50 a.m. Jack stepped out with his coffee. He glanced toward the driveway where Betty was working. He didn't look surprised, didn't call the police. He smiled, a small, satisfied smile. Then he walked back inside. 23 years of marriage, the father of my daughter. And he'd just orchestrated. What I replayed both videos 3 times, hands shaking so hard I nearly dropped the phone. My phone buzzed. Text from Jack. "Hey, hon, just checking in. You get Rebecca to the airport, okay? Love you." Love you. I thought about the last 6 months. The memory problems, the mood swings, the feeling like my brain was wrapped in cotton. It started last August. Forgetting keys appointments conversations. By October, I was having gaps in my memory, crying at nothing, feeling anxious and confused. Rebecca had called in November. "Mom, are you okay? You sounded really confused yesterday." Jack had been so concerned. "Jen, you should see a doctor. This isn't normal." Our doctor found nothing wrong. Prescribed anti-anxiety meds. I took them for 2 weeks and hated how they made me feel. But every morning Jack made me tea. Green tea with honey. "For your health," he'd say. Now I understood. And that package under my car, probably drugs. Once police found it, Jack would play the devastated husband. "She's been so unstable, officer. I had no idea she was using drugs." And Rebecca had signed something. A statement about my unstable behavior. It would all fit perfectly. Jennifer Foster arrested, convicted, locked away. And Jack would get everything. I put the car in drive and headed east toward the mountains. Not home. Never home again. Because the man I loved was trying to destroy me. I drove straight back to Portland International Airport. My Honda was still in long-term parking level 3. I'd stopped at a drugstore first. Latex gloves, Ziploc bags, flashlight. The cashier barely noticed me, just another invisible middle-aged woman. The parking garage was quiet at 9 a.m. I pulled on the gloves and crouched beside my Honda, shining the flashlight underneath. There, behind the front wheel held with duct tape the black package. I peeled it free and walked back to Jack's car like I was carrying groceries. I drove to the top level to a corner I knew had no cameras. 25 years as an architect taught me where surveillance systems have gaps. I opened the package. 6 plastic bags of white powder, maybe 50 grams each. Black Sharpie on every bag, BT, Betty Thornton's initials. Cocaine, or close enough. The second police found this, I'd be arrested. I photographed everything, sealed it back up, and shoved it under the passenger seat. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Mrs. Foster, this is Thomas. I'm using my sister's phone. They're watching your phone. Meet me. Sunrise Cafe, Highway 26, mile marker 42. Don't go home. I texted back. I found it. Cocaine, 6 bags. Betty's initials. Thank God. Meet me in 1 hour. I stared at the Ziploc bag beside me. 6 bags of white powder that could destroy my life. I thought about going to police. But what would I say? My husband planted drugs. Where's your proof this footage could be doctored? These drugs. In your car, no. I needed more. I started the car and headed for Highway 26. 40 minutes later, I walked into Sunrise Cafe. Thomas sat in the back corner, his face drawn. I slid into the booth. Thomas, tell me everything. His hands shook around his coffee mug. 3 days ago, I was cleaning upstairs. I heard voices from Mr. Foster's office. The door was open. It was him and Betty. What did they say? Betty asked, when is she coming back? Mr. Foster said, by 8. The package will be in place by then. Betty asked, what if she finds it? He laughed. Said she won't. By the time she picks up her car, police will be waiting. My stomach dropped. An anonymous tip. They'd call police, report drugs in a car at PDX. I'd be arrested on the spot. Then Betty asked about Rebecca. Mr. Foster said Rebecca's on our side. She signed the statement. She'll testify Jennifer's been unstable. Between that and the drugs, no court will side with her. Rebecca's on our side. Thomas, does Rebecca know about the drugs? He shook his head quickly. Later, Betty asked, does the kid know about the plan? Mr. Foster said, God, no. Rebecca would never agree. We're keeping her in the dark. Rebecca didn't know. She'd been manipulated, just like me. Why would Rebecca sign that statement? Thomas looked down. Mrs. Foster, I think they've been drugging you. That bottle in your bathroom, the small one with no label, I was a nurse in Mexico 30 years ago. I recognized the smell. Scopolamine. Scopolamine. Low doses cause confusion, memory problems, mood swings. In Colombia, they call it devil's breath. The room tilted. 6 months of feeling foggy, of forgetting things, of crying for no reason. Jack had been poisoning me. Every morning, my green tea. Thomas, why are you telling me this? His eyes filled with tears. 5 years ago, my son Miguel needed heart surgery. $120,000. Insurance denied it. I was going to lose him. You wrote me a check for $50,000. You said it's a gift. Family helps family. Miguel lived 2 more years because of you. Now I save you. You are a good woman, Mrs. Foster. Mr. Foster is not a good man. I held his hands across the table. Thank you, Thomas. You can't go home. He'll delete the camera footage. But I have something. He pulled out a USB drive. I copied files from his laptop. Emails, documents. I don't know if it's enough. I took the drive. It's a start. One more thing. Betty Thornton isn't just his mistress. I've seen her with dangerous people. Whatever this is, I think she's done it before. After Thomas left, I sat alone in that diner booth holding a USB drive that might save my life. I wasn't going home. I wasn't calling police yet. First, I was going to disappear, gather evidence, fight back. Because Jack Foster had made one mistake, he'd underestimated me. I needed help, professional help. From a cafe in Sandy, an hour east of Portland, I Googled divorce attorneys. One name stood out, Patricia Kim Esquire. Protecting your rights when trust is broken. 25 years experience. I called. I need to speak with Patricia Kim. It's an emergency. Ms. Kim's schedule is fully booked. My husband is trying to frame me for drug possession. He's been poisoning me. I have evidence, but I don't know what to do. Silence. Then, hold please. 2 minutes later, this is Patricia Kim. I explained everything. The footage, the cocaine, the poisoning, Rebecca's statement. Where are you right now? Sandy. Can you be at my office in 90 minutes, Pioneer Tower, downtown Portland, 12th floor? Yes. Don't talk to your husband. Don't go home. Come straight here. Patricia Kim's office radiated competence. She was 51, Korean American, wearing a navy suit that cost more than my mortgage. Her eyes missed nothing. Tell me everything. I did. She took notes, asked sharp questions. What time? Did you save the footage? Where are the drugs now? When I finished, she set down her pen. Mrs. Foster, you're in immediate danger. If your husband tips off police, you'll be arrested within hours. Right now you have security footage that could be argued as doctored drugs with a questionable chain of custody and hearsay from your housekeeper. That's not enough. What do I do? We need more evidence. Laboratory confirmation of scopolamine, more proof of conspiracy, financial records, documentation of your daughter's involvement, and we need it before your husband realizes you're on to him. She slid a contract across the desk. My retainer is $25,000. Investigation, legal representation, everything. Can you afford it? I thought of my architecture firm savings. Yes. Good. Once you sign, everything is protected by attorney-client privilege. I signed without reading. Patricia called in her investigator. Malcolm Grant, mid-50s, former LAPD detective. We spent an hour going through Thomas's USB drive. Hundreds of emails between Jack and Betty. Financial transfers. Rebecca's statement. A timeline Jack had created for my destruction. Email August 15th, 2025. Jack to Betty. Jennifer is holding me back. She's content with mediocrity. Divorce would cost me half of everything. I've been thinking about other options. Betty's reply. I can help. I've done this before. Helped someone transition out of an inconvenient marriage. The key is making her look unstable. Arrested, she'd have no credibility. And when the dust settles, you and I can be together. With all the resources we deserve. Jack's response. I'm in. Tell me what I need to do. That's where it started. 4 months ago. The scopolamine. The cocaine. Rebecca's statement. All planned. Malcolm found bank records, $47,500, transferred from our joint account to Jack's private account. $22,000 transferred to Rebecca's account 2 months ago. Why would he give Rebecca money? Malcolm pulled up emails between Jack and Rebecca. September 10th, 2025. Rebecca to Jack. Dad, please don't tell Mom. I owe $78,000. Credit cards and bad crypto investments. I'm so stupid. Jack to Rebecca. You're not stupid. Everyone makes mistakes. I can help. But I'm also worried about your mom. Have you noticed she's been different? Forgetful, emotional. Rebecca. Yeah, she called last week and seemed confused. Jack. It's more than stress. I think she's struggling mentally. She won't admit it. If things get worse, I might need you to confirm what you've observed. Would you do that? Rebecca. Of course, if it helps Mom. November 1st. Jack. I transferred $22,000. You don't need to pay me back. But did you write down those observations about your mom? My lawyer suggested we document things. Rebecca. Yeah, I finished it. Attached. Dad, I feel weird about this. Jack. This is just a precaution. Focus on school. I'll take care of everything. The statement was attached. Rebecca had documented every symptom the scopolamine caused, thinking she was helping her mentally ill mother. She didn't know, I whispered. She's a victim too. Patricia nodded. Which means she'll flip once she knows the truth. But Mrs. Foster, you can't contact her yet. If your husband finds out, he'll accelerate his timeline. What do I do? You disappear. Let us gather evidence. Lab tests for scopolamine, more cameras in your house, background investigation on Betty. 1 to 2 weeks, then we move. Where do I go? Somewhere he'd never think to look. I thought of the cabin near Mount Hood. Thomas's brother's place. Off the grid. I have a place. Patricia handed me her card. Call anytime. And Mrs. Foster, your husband has been planning this for months. Now it's your turn to plan. I left her office with a contract, a strategy, and something I hadn't felt in months, hope. The cabin was perfect. Small, rustic, isolated. No TV, spotty cell service. Just what I needed. I texted Jack. Needed time alone after dropping Rebecca off. Taking a few days at that spa resort in Mount Hood. Hope that's okay. Love you. His response. Of course you deserve pampering. Take all the time you need. Love you so much. Love you so much. Lies. I opened my laptop and dove into Thomas's files. Hours passed, the sun set, and I learned exactly how deep Jack's betrayal went. Document JF Plan Timeline. Phase 1 September to October. Begin treatments. Document behavioral changes. Phase 2 November. Secure Rebecca's cooperation. Financial leverage. Phase 3 December to January. Continue documentation. Create incidents. Phase 4 February. Plant evidence. Anonymous tip. Arrest. Phase 5 February to March. Emergency asset control. Mental health evaluation. Phase 6 March to April. Divorce proceedings. Criminal trial. Phase 7 May. New beginning. Today was Phase 4. I should have been arrested today. Financial projections. Divorce settlement. $1.2 million each. Criminal conviction scenario. Jack gets $2.2 million. Net gain $1.0 million. $1 million. That's what I was worth to him. I found more about Betty email. Betty to Jack, September 6th, Seattle 2018. My ex-husband, Dr. Richard Caldwell. Successful surgeon, very wealthy. I convinced him he had dementia. Filed anonymous malpractice complaints. He signed medical power of attorney to me. 6 months later, Richard was institutionalized. I had his assets, and my partner and I split $3.2 million. Richard committed suicide a year later. I moved to Portland with a new name, Betty Thornton, instead of Elizabeth Caldwell. The key is patience and choosing the right partner. I think you're that partner. Betty had done this before, driven a man to suicide and stolen his money. Now she was doing it to me. I found Jack's draft email to Rebecca that he never sent. Dear Rebecca, your mother is sick. Yesterday she accused me of stealing. I'm scared of what she might do. That's why I need your help. But he didn't send it, because Rebecca had already given him everything he needed. I closed the laptop and sat in the dark. 23 years, our wedding day. Jack crying when he said his vows. I promise to love you, honor you, cherish you, until death do us part. Had he meant it then, or had I always been just convenient until I wasn't anymore? Patricia texted lab appointment tomorrow 9 a.m. Portland Forensic Services. Dr. Sarah, Dr. Emily Carter. Drive safe. Tomorrow I'd confirm the scopolamine poisoning. Then cameras in the house. Then Betty's background investigation. 1 to 2 weeks, Patricia said. Then we'd have enough to destroy them. My phone buzzed. Jack again. Hope you're enjoying the spa. I miss you. House feels empty. Love you. XO. Good, I thought. Get used to it. I made a peanut butter sandwich and ate it by the window. Outside, complete darkness. No lights, no people, just trees and silence. For the first time in 6 months, my head felt clear. No more poisoned tea. The fog was lifting. My thoughts were sharp. My memory reliable. This was what it felt like to be myself again. And I was furious. Not hot, explosive anger, but cold, calculated fury. The kind that plans. The kind that waits, the kind that wins. I opened my laptop and made my own timeline. Jennifer's plan, Phase 1. Gather evidence, lab results, cameras. Financial forensics. Phase 2, secure Rebecca. Bring her home, show her truth. Phase 3, build case audio/video confessions. Expert witnesses. Phase 4, strike police restraining order, criminal charges. Phase 5, justice trial, conviction, rebuild life. Simple, but not easy. Jack and Betty spent months planning my destruction. I had maybe 2 weeks to stop them. But I had something they didn't. I was innocent. I was fighting for my life and my daughter. And I had nothing left to lose. That made me dangerous. I looked at one more email before bed. Betty to Jack, January 26th. Almost time, my love. Soon we'll be free. I can't wait to wake up next to you in that beautiful house Jennifer designed. The irony is delicious. She built us the perfect home and doesn't know it's ours. 2 more days. Then her life ends and ours begins. I love you. B. 2 more days. That was yesterday. My life should have ended today. Instead, I was just getting started. I turned off the lamp and lay down. Wind moved through the pines outside. An owl called in the distance. Jennifer Foster closed her eyes, ready to become someone new, someone who fights back. someone who wins. The alarm went off at 6:30 a.m. I'd barely slept, my mind churning through everything I'd learned from Thomas's files. But when I opened my eyes in that small cabin bedroom, something felt different. My head was clear, sharper than it had been in months. No fog, no confusion, just clarity. 24 hours without Jack's poisoned tea, and I could already feel my mind returning to normal. I made instant coffee on the ancient stove and checked my phone. 1 bar of service, but enough to see Patricia's text from last night. Dr. Emily Carter expecting you at 9 a.m. Bring photo ID. She'll take blood hair samples and test the bottle if Thomas can retrieve it. Also, Malcolm installed first camera last night. Electrical repair cover story worked. Jack never suspected. More to come? Stay strong. PK. I felt a surge of hope. They were already moving. While Jack thought I was at a spa getting massages and facials, we were building a case against him. The drive from Mount Hood to Portland took 2 hours. I arrived at Portland Forensic Services at 8:55 a.m., a nondescript office building in northwest Portland. Nothing on the outside suggested what happened inside. Dr. Emily Carter met me in a small examination room. She was maybe 40 with kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Mrs. Foster, Patricia briefed me on your situation. I'm so sorry you're going through this. She gestured to a chair. Let's get started. I need blood samples, hair samples from the root, and if possible, a sample of the substance you believe contains scopolamine. My housekeeper is retrieving the bottle tonight. He'll bring it directly to you. Perfect. Dr. Emily Carter tied a tourniquet around my arm. This will feel like a small pinch. As she drew vial after vial of blood, she explained scopolamine typically stays in the blood for about 24 hours, but with chronic exposure over months, we should still find traces. Hair samples can show exposure going back 6 months or more. If your husband has been dosing you regularly, we'll find it. How long for results? Blood tests, 48 hours for preliminary, 72 for comprehensive. Hair analysis takes longer, about a week. But if the scopolamine is in that bottle, we'll know within 24 hours. She took hair samples next, cutting close to the scalp from several locations. We need roots for the most accurate timeline. When we finished, she handed me a card. Patricia has my direct number, but take this too. If you experience any symptoms, dizziness, confusion, racing heart, call me immediately. Scopolamine withdrawal can cause issues, especially after prolonged exposure. I feel fine. Better than I have in months, actually. She smiled. That's good. That's your baseline returning. Remember that feeling, Mrs. Foster. That's who you really are. I drove back toward Mount Hood, but halfway there my phone rang. Malcolm Grant. Mrs. Foster, I need you to meet me. There's something you should see. What is it? Not over the phone. Can you come to this address? He rattled off a location in northeast Portland. It's a cafe, public safe, 1 hour. I'll be there. The cafe was called The Daily Grind, a hipster coffee shop in the Alberta Arts District. Malcolm sat in the back corner, laptop open, 2 coffee cups on the table. Decaf latte, he said, sliding one toward me. Figured you might want to avoid more chemicals in your system. I appreciated the thought. What did you find? He turned the laptop toward me. I've been tailing your husband and Betty Thornton since yesterday afternoon. Got some interesting footage. The screen showed video from a parking garage. Timestamp yesterday, 4:47 p.m. Jack's Mercedes pulled into a spot. Betty's BMW pulled in next to it. They got out, looked around to make sure no one was watching. Then Betty got into Jack's car. Malcolm fast-forwarded. They sat in his car for 23 minutes, talking. Here's the audio. He hit play. The sound quality wasn't perfect, but I could hear them clearly. Betty, are you sure she doesn't suspect anything? Jack, she's clueless. This morning she texted me from some spa in Mount Hood. Says she needs time alone after dropping Rebecca off. Laughs. Perfect timing, really. While she's getting hot stone massages, we're finalizing everything. Betty, when do we make the call, Jack? Tomorrow, Thursday morning. Anonymous tip to Portland police. Woman with drugs in her car. PDX long-term parking level 3 silver Honda CR-V license plate. I'll give them everything they need. Betty, and you're sure the package is secure, Jack? I drove by the airport this morning. Her car's exactly where she left it. Package is still in place. By tomorrow afternoon, she'll be in custody. Betty, what about Rebecca? Jack, Rebecca thinks her mother is mentally ill and needs help. When Jennifer gets arrested for drug possession, it'll just confirm everything I've been telling her. Rebecca will testify that her mother's been unstable for months. Between that and the drugs, no court will side with Jennifer. Betty, and then Jack. Then I file for emergency control of assets, mental health evaluation, divorce proceedings while she's dealing with criminal charges. By March, everything will be in my name. The house, the business, the investments, all of it. Betty, our house, our money. Jack, our new beginning. They kissed. The video showed them hands tangled in each other's hair, completely absorbed in each other. Malcolm stopped the video. There's more, but you get the idea. This was recorded with a directional microphone from 50 feet away. Completely legal, they were in a public parking garage. No expectation of privacy. I stared at the frozen image on the screen. My husband of 23 years kissing another woman planning my destruction. This is good, right? I asked. This is evidence. It's excellent evidence. Clear conspiracy to commit fraud filing a false police report, and it corroborates everything else we have. But Mrs. Foster, there's more. Something you need to know about Betty Thornton. He pulled up another file. I did some digging into her background. Betty Thornton legally changed her name in 2019. Before that, she was Elizabeth Ann Caldwell. He showed me a driver's license photo. Same woman, different name. In 2018, Elizabeth Caldwell was married to Dr. Richard Caldwell, a prominent cardiac surgeon in Seattle. He was 53, she was 35. They'd been married 8 years. Malcolm pulled up news articles. Seattle Times, March 2019. Prominent surgeon dies by suicide after malpractice allegations. The article showed a photo of Dr. Caldwell, distinguished-looking gray hair, kind eyes. Dr. Richard Caldwell, 53, was found dead in his Medina home yesterday, an apparent suicide. Caldwell had been under investigation by the state medical board following multiple malpractice complaints filed over the past 6 months. His wife, Elizabeth Caldwell, stated that her husband had been exhibiting signs of early-onset dementia, and she had been trying to get him help. Richard was a brilliant surgeon, she said, but in recent months he became forgetful, confused. I begged him to see a neurologist, but he refused. Now I'll never forgive myself for not doing more. The medical board investigation concluded that there was insufficient evidence of malpractice, but Dr. Caldwell's medical license had already been suspended pending further review. He is survived by his wife and his sister Stephanie of Portland. I felt sick. She did this before, exactly what she's doing to me. Malcolm nodded grimly. I contacted Stephanie, Richard's sister. She's been living in Portland since her brother's death. I told her I was investigating a similar case. She agreed to meet with us. When? Tomorrow, if you're willing. She has information about what Elizabeth Betty did to her brother. Information that was never made public. Yes, I need to hear it. Malcolm closed his laptop. Mrs. Foster, I've been doing this job for 20 years. Divorce investigations, fraud cases, you name it. This is one of the most calculated, cold-blooded schemes I've ever seen. Your husband and Betty Thornton aren't just having an affair. They're executing a systematic plan to destroy you financially, legally, and emotionally. I know. But here's the thing, they're not as smart as they think they are. They're leaving trails everywhere, and we're documenting all of it. He handed me a USB drive. This has everything so far. The parking garage video background on Betty Financial Analysis showing how your husband's been siphoning money. Keep it somewhere safe. Not at the cabin, somewhere else. A safety deposit box, maybe. I don't have access to my safety deposit box without Jack knowing. Then give it to someone you trust completely. Someone who has nothing to do with this case. I thought for a moment. Grace Morrison, my neighbor. She's a retired judge. She's always been kind to me. Perfect. A retired judge is ideal. She'll understand the importance of chain of custody. That afternoon, I drove back to Portland and stopped at Grace Morrison's house. Grace was 62, sharp as a tack, with silver hair she wore in a neat bob. Her house was 3 doors down from mine on Skyline Boulevard. She answered the door in gardening clothes, surprised to see me. Jennifer, I thought you were at a spa. Can I come in? I need to talk to you about something. It's complicated. Grace's expression shifted to concern. Of course, come in. We sat in her Kit Dr. Emily Carter, a beautiful space with marble counters and a view of the valley. Grace poured us both tea from a pot that was already steeping. Now, she said, settling into the chair across from me. What's going on? I told her everything. The cameras, the cocaine, the poisoning Betty Thornton, Rebecca's manipulation, all of it. As I spoke, Grace's face went from concerned to shocked to furious. "That son of a bitch," she said when I finished. Grace rarely swore. "Jennifer, I've known you and Jack for 8 years. I always thought he was, well, a bit self-absorbed, but I never imagined this." "I need help," I said. "I need someone I can trust who's not involved. Someone who can hold evidence safely. I'm a retired circuit court judge. I understand evidentiary procedure. Give me whatever you need stored. I'll document everything properly." I handed her the USB drive Malcolm had given me. "This has video and audio of Jack and Betty planning my arrest, background information, financial records. It's all the evidence we've gathered so far." Grace took the drive and immediately wrote out a receipt on a legal pad. "Received from Jennifer Foster on January 29, 2026 at 3:15 p.m. One USB drive containing evidence in the matter of Foster versus Foster." She signed it and handed me a copy. "Thank you, Grace. Jennifer, I want to help more than this. What else can I do? I might need a safe place. If things get dangerous, if Jack figures out what I'm doing. You come straight here. You have a key to my house." "No." She got up and pulled a key from a drawer. "Now you do. Front door. If you need to hide, if you need safety, you come here. No questions asked." I took the key, feeling tears sting my eyes. "Why are you doing this?" Grace reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "Because I sat on the bench for 30 years and I saw what happens when good people don't help each other. I saw women destroyed by men who thought they were untouchable. Not this time. Not to you." That evening back at the cabin, Patricia called. "Good news. Dr. Emily Carter got the bottle from Thomas. Preliminary test came back positive for scopolamine. High concentration. Your husband wasn't subtle. He was dosing you with enough to cause significant cognitive impairment." "How much?" "Enough that it's a wonder you were still functioning at all. Most people would have been completely incapacitated. The fact that you were still working, driving, having conversations, your tolerance must be unusually high." I thought about those months. How I'd pushed through the fog, blamed myself for being forgetful, for being emotional. "How long until you have the full lab results?" "Another 48 hours for comprehensive blood work. But Jennifer, we have enough now to go to the police if we wanted to." "No, not yet. We need more. We need Rebecca home. We need Betty's pattern documented. We need recordings of them admitting everything. Malcolm's installing more cameras in your house tomorrow night. Jack has a work dinner at 6, some client event that's supposed to run until 9. Thomas confirmed Jack will definitely be gone. That gives us a 3-hour window. Where are you putting cameras?" "Jack's office, your bedroom, the kit Dr. Emily Carter. Anywhere they might talk freely. Malcolm's using equipment so small you'd never notice unless you knew exactly where to look." "What about audio?" "Full audio. This isn't just about seeing them together. We need to hear them discussing the plan, talking about the scopolamine, talking about framing you. Once we have that along with the lab results, the financial evidence, Malcolm's surveillance footage, we'll have an airtight case." "How long?" 1 week, maybe 2 at most. Then we bring Rebecca home, show her everything, and go to the police with the full package." 1 week. I could survive 1 more week. Friday morning, I received an email from Dr. Emily Carter with the comprehensive lab results. Subject: lab results. Confidential. Mrs. Foster, your blood and hair analysis results are complete. I'm attaching the full report, but here are the key findings. Blood analysis * scopolamine detected 0.8 nanograms per milliliter. Therapeutic dose is 0.4 to 0.8 nanograms per milliliter for motion sickness. You are at the high end of therapeutic, suggesting recent exposure. Metabolites present indicating chronic exposure. 3 to 6 months minimum. Hair analysis scopolamine present in all samples. Concentration increasing over time, suggesting escalating doses. Timeline. Initial exposure approximately 6 months ago. August 2025, with doses increasing significantly in October to November. Bottle analysis contents: scopolamine hydrobromide, 0.6 milligrams per milliliter concentration. Form liquid suspension easily mixed with beverages. Volume 50 milliliters, enough for approximately 50 doses at the concentration found in your system. Clinical assessment. The dosing pattern suggests deliberate, calculated poisoning designed to produce cognitive impairment while avoiding acute overdose. Symptoms you would have experienced: short-term memory loss, confusion and disorientation, mood instability, emotional lability, difficulty concentrating, anxiety and paranoia, possible hallucinations at higher doses. Long-term exposure at these levels can cause permanent cognitive damage if continued. Fortunately, you discontinued exposure in time. Full recovery expected within 2 to 3 weeks. This report is admissible in court and clearly demonstrates felony poisoning. Please contact me if you have questions. Dr. Sarah Dr. Emily Carter, MD PhD Forensic Toxicology. I read the report 3 times. My hands shaking. Permanent cognitive damage. If I hadn't found out when I did, if I'd continued drinking Jack's tea for another few months. I thought about all those mornings. Jack handing me my tea with a smile. Here you go, sweetheart. Green tea with honey. Good for your health. How many times? How many mornings had he watched me drink poison, knowing exactly what he was doing to me? And Rebecca. My daughter had watched me deteriorate. She documented it thinking she was helping me. Meanwhile, her father was the one causing every symptom she observed. I forwarded the report to Patricia with a short message. Evidence of poisoning confirmed. What's next? Her response came within minutes. This changes everything. With this report, we could have him arrested today for felony poisoning alone. But if we move now, Betty gets away. She's the mastermind. I want them both. Agreed. Me. Agreed. We take them both down. Patricia. Good. Malcolm's installing the last cameras tonight. Then we wait for them to incriminate themselves on tape. Shouldn't take long. They think they're safe, that you're clueless. They'll talk freely. That night, Malcolm sent me a text. All cameras installed. 7 total. Full audio/video. Streaming to secure cloud server. You can access from your laptop. Password Justice for Jen. 2026. I logged into the system. 7 camera feeds appeared on my screen. 1. Jack's office. Camera hidden in desk lamp 2. Master bedroom. Camera in alarm clock 3. Kit Dr. Emily Carter. Camera in smoke detector 4. Living room. Camera in bookshelf 5. Garage. Camera in corner rafter 6. Front porch. Existing doorbell camera already had access 7. Driveway. Existing security camera already had access. I had eyes and ears on my entire house. Now I waited. Saturday morning, I woke up to a notification on my laptop. Motion detected in Jack's office at 9:47 a.m. I opened the feed. Jack sat at his desk, phone to his ear. I turned up the volume. Jack. Yes, that's right. Anonymous tip. Silver Honda CRV, Oregon plates 827JYK Level 3 of PDX long-term parking. I have reason to believe the vehicle contains controlled substances. No, I can't give my name. I'm a concerned citizen. Yes, I'll hold. My heart stopped. He was calling it in, right now. But then he paused, listening. His expression changed. Jack, what do you mean you need more information? A license plate isn't enough. I see. So you can't just search random cars without probable cause. But what if I told you I saw drugs being placed there? Still not enough. Okay, thank you. He hung up, frustrated. I exhaled. The police wouldn't act on an anonymous tip alone. They needed more than a license plate and a vague accusation. Jack immediately called someone else. On the video, I could see the name on his phone screen. Betty. Jack. It didn't work. They want more than an anonymous tip. Something about probable cause. Betty's voice through speakerphone. Damn it, we should have anticipated that. Jack. So what do we do? The package is still there. If Jennifer picks up her car before we can get police involved. Betty. She won't. She thinks she's at a spa, remember? She's not planning to get her car until she comes home. When is she supposed to be back? Jack. She said a few days. Could be Monday or Tuesday. Betty. Okay. New plan. Monday morning you call in a wellness check. Say your wife has been struggling with mental health issues, hasn't been answering her phone, you're worried. That gets them to actually look for her. When they find her car at the airport with drugs in it, it's not anonymous. It's part of a welfare check. Jack. That could work? Betty. It will work. Trust me. I've done this before, remember Jack? Yeah, with Richard. Betty. Richard was easier. He actually trusted me right up until the end. Jennifer's been harder to manipulate. She's stronger than I expected. Jack. She won't be strong when she's in jail. They laughed. Both of them. Laughing about destroying my life. I recorded everything. Later that day, around 2 p.m., Betty arrived at the house. I watched through the driveway camera as she parked and walked inside like she owned the place. They went straight to the bedroom. I almost closed the feed. I didn't want to watch them have sex in the bed I'd shared with Jack for 23 years. But I forced myself to keep watching. Not the intimate moments, but what came after. They lay in bed talking. The camera's audio was crystal clear. Betty, I can't wait until this is all over, until we can be together without sneaking around. Jack, soon, Jennifer will be arrested by Wednesday at the latest. Once she's in custody, I file the emergency paperwork. Within a week, I'll have control of everything. Betty, what about Rebecca, Jack? What about her? Betty, is she going to be a problem long-term, I mean? Jack, no. Rebecca thinks her mother is mentally ill. She'll be upset about the arrest, but she'll believe Jennifer brought it on herself. And once Jennifer's convicted, Rebecca will have no choice but to accept me moving on with my life. Betty, moving on with you and me, you mean? Jack, exactly. Betty, do you think Rebecca will ever live with us? After we're married? Jack, God, I hope not. She's 22. She should be independent by now. Maybe we can set her up in an apartment somewhere. Give her an allowance. Keep her at arm's length. I paused the video. Jack had just said he hoped our daughter wouldn't live with us, that he wanted to keep her at arm's length. This wasn't just about me. Jack was prepared to discard Rebecca too once she'd served her purpose. Betty, what about the money? You said the total assets are around $2.4 million. Jack, give or take. $1.2 million for the house. Jennifer designed it herself, custom everything. It'll sell fast. $800,000 in investment accounts. About $400,000 in business assets from her architecture firm. Betty, and our agreement is still 30% to me, Jack. That's what we agreed, $720,000. Plus we sell this house, split the proceeds, buy something new together. Betty, I was thinking maybe we keep this house. I love it. Jennifer has good taste. Jackie, you want to live in the house my ex-wife designed. Betty, why not? She'll be in prison. She'll never see it again. And it's beautiful. Why waste it? Jack, pause. You're cold. You know that, Betty. You knew that when you started this. That's why you came to me. Because you needed someone who could do what needed to be done. Jack, true. Betty, just like Richard needed me. And look how well that worked out. Jack, except Richard killed himself. Betty, Richard was weak. Jennifer's stronger. But we've planned better this time. We have the drugs, the poisoning, Rebecca's statement. There's no way out for her. Jack, what if she finds out? What if somehow, Betty, she won't? She's at a spa getting massages, completely oblivious. By the time she figures out something's wrong, she'll already be in handcuffs. I saved that entire conversation. Every word. That evening, Patricia called. Jennifer, I just watched the footage from today. We have everything we need. Conspiracy, fraud, poisoning, they confessed to all of it on tape. So we go to the police. Almost. We need one more thing. What, Del? Rebecca. We need to bring your daughter home, show her the truth, and get her statement supporting you instead of Jack. With Rebecca on our side, Jack loses his star witness. Without her testimony about your unstable behavior, his whole narrative falls apart. How do I get her home? She's in Barcelona. The program doesn't end for 6 months. You fly there. You show her everything. You bring her back. Patricia, I can't just fly to Barcelona. What if Jack thinks you're at a spa? You have a few more days before he expects you home. Barcelona is 9 hours by plane. You could fly there tomorrow, spend Monday with Rebecca, fly back Tuesday. Back before Jack even knows you're gone. That's insane. It's necessary. Jennifer, your daughter, is the key to this whole thing. Right now, she thinks she's protecting you by supporting her father. Once she knows the truth that Jack poisoned you, framed you, manipulated her, she'll flip. And when she testifies against Jack instead of against you, we win. I thought about Rebecca, my baby, how cold she'd been at the airport, how she wouldn't even look at me. What if she doesn't believe me? You'll have evidence, the lab reports, the videos, the financial records, everything. She'll believe you because it's the truth. When would I leave? Tomorrow, Sunday morning. I'll book the flights. You fly to Barcelona, you find Rebecca at her dorm, you show her everything. Malcolm will come with you for security and as a witness to whatever she says. This is really happening. Yes, it's time to bring your daughter home. Sunday morning before my flight, Malcolm and I met with Stephanie at a coffee shop in Southeast Portland. Margaret was in her late 50s with graying hair and sad eyes. She carried a folder thick with papers. Thank you for meeting us, Malcolm said. When you said someone else was going through what my brother went through, I had to help." She looked at me. "You're the woman—" "Yes, I'm Jennifer Foster, your brother's ex-wife, Elizabeth. She's now calling herself Betty Thornton. She's working with my husband to destroy me the same way she destroyed Richard." Margaret's jaw tightened. "I knew Elizabeth was evil. I tried to tell Richard, but he wouldn't listen. He loved her." "Can you tell us what happened?" She opened the folder. Richard was a cardiac surgeon. Brilliant, kind. He'd been married once before divorced amicably. Then he met Elizabeth at a hospital fundraiser in 2010. She was a pharmaceutical rep at the time. Beautiful, charming. They got married in 2011. Everything seemed fine for the first few years. But in 2017, things changed. Richard started having problems at work. Forgetting patient names, mixing up dosages. Small things at first. "Did you suspect Elizabeth?" Malcolm asked. "Not at first. I thought maybe Richard was overworked, but then I visited their house one weekend. I found a bottle in their medicine cabinet, no label, just clear liquid. I asked Elizabeth what it was. She said it was a vitamin supplement Richard's doctor recommended. I didn't think much of it until later, but after Richard died, I hired a private investigator. He found out that Elizabeth had been ordering scopolamine online. Small amounts, but regular deliveries over 6 months. My blood ran cold. She was poisoning him. Yes, making him forgetful, confused. Then she started filing anonymous complaints with the medical board. "Doctor, Caldwell almost gave me the wrong medication." Dr. Caldwell seemed disoriented during my appointment. Things like that. The medical board started investigating. Richard's medical license was suspended. He was devastated. That's when Elizabeth convinced him to sign medical power of attorney over to her. "Just in case," she said. "So I can make decisions for you if things get worse." Once she had power of attorney, she had him committed to a memory care facility, claimed he was a danger to himself. He was there for 3 months before her voice broke, before he took his own life. By then, Elizabeth and Richard's business partner, a doctor named James Wheeler, had liquidated most of Richard's assets. They claimed it was to pay for his care, but really they were stealing from him. "What happened to James Wheeler?" I asked. "He moved to California. Last I heard, he remarried and is still practicing medicine. Elizabeth took her share of the money, legally changed her name to Betty Thornton, and moved to Portland. I wanted to press charges, but the lawyers said it would be hard to prove. Elizabeth had covered her tracks. Medical power of attorney was legal. The commitment was signed off by doctors. And Richard was dead, so he couldn't testify. But I know what she did. She destroyed my brother, and now she's trying to do it to you." Malcolm pulled out his laptop. "Mrs. Caldwell, would you be willing to testify about this in court?" "Absolutely. If it puts that monster in prison, I'll testify to anything." He showed her the videos we'd captured. Betty and Jack planning my arrest. Betty talking about doing this before with Richard. Margaret's eyes filled with tears as she watched. "That's her. That's the same cold, calculating woman who killed my brother." "Mrs. Caldwell, this recording, combined with your testimony about Richard's case, establishes a pattern. Betty Thornton has done this before. That makes her a serial predator, not just an affair partner." Margaret wiped her eyes. "You're going to stop her?" "Yes," I said. "We're going to stop her. For Richard. For me. For whoever she might target next." We spent another hour going through Margaret's documents. Medical records showing Richard's cognitive decline. Financial records showing the asset transfers. The death certificate. By the time we finished, we had a complete picture. Betty Thornton, née Elizabeth Caldwell, had a pattern. She targeted wealthy men, poisoned them, manipulated them into giving her control, then liquidated their assets. She'd done it to Richard Caldwell in 2018. She was trying to do it to me now, but this time she wasn't going to win. Sunday evening, Malcolm and I boarded a flight to Barcelona. 9 hours in the air, watching the sun set and rise over the Atlantic. I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about what I'd say to Rebecca. How I'd explain that her father, the man she loved and trusted, had poisoned me, framed me, and manipulated her into betraying me. Would she believe me? Or would she think I was exactly what Jack claimed, mentally unstable, paranoid, making up wild accusations? We landed in Barcelona Monday morning at 10 a.m. local time. The city was beautiful, Gothic architecture, sunny skies, the Mediterranean sparkling in the distance. But I wasn't here for tourism. We took a taxi to the University of Barcelona where Rebecca was staying in the international student dormitory. I'd found the address on her acceptance letter, which I'd kept in my files. My hands shook as I called her cell phone. "Mom," she sounded groggy. "What time is it?" "It's 10 in the morning, sweetheart. Barcelona time." "Why are you calling so early?" "Because I'm here, in Barcelona. I need to see you. It's urgent." Silence. Then, "You're here in Spain?" "Yes. There's a cafe called Cafe Zurich near the university. Can you meet me there in 30 minutes? "Mom, I don't understand." "Please, Rebecca. 30 minutes. I'll explain everything." Another pause. "Okay, I'll be there." Cafe Zurich was crowded with students and tourists. Malcolm sat at a table in the corner, laptop ready, while I waited at a table near the window. Rebecca walked in at 10:30 wearing jeans and a University of Barcelona sweatshirt, her hair pulled back in a ponytail. She looked tired, confused, worried. When she saw me, her expression shifted to something I couldn't quite read. Relief, anger, fear, Mom. She sat down across from me. "What are you doing here? What's going on?" "Rebecca, I need you to listen to me. Really listen. What I'm about to tell you is going to be hard to hear." "You're scaring me." "I know. I'm sorry. But you need to know the truth." I pulled out my iPad and opened a folder. "Sweetheart, your father has been lying to you. About me. About everything." "What are you talking about?" "Do you remember the statement you signed in November about my behavior?" Her face flushed. "How do you know about that?" "Because I've seen it. Dad kept a copy. Rebecca, everything you documented in that statement, the forgetfulness, the mood swings, the confusion, it was all real, but it wasn't because I'm mentally ill." I pulled up Dr. Emily Carter's lab report. "It's because your father has been poisoning me. For 6 months. Rebecca stared at the screen. That can't be." "Scopolamine, a drug that causes memory loss, confusion, mood changes. Dad put it in my tea every morning. He made me seem unstable so he could have me arrested, take control of our assets, and be with his mistress. Mistress, Dad doesn't—" I showed her the video from the parking garage. Jack and Betty kissing. Planning my arrest. Jack's voice. "By tomorrow afternoon, she'll be in custody." Betty's voice. "And then everything will be ours." Rebecca's face went pale. No, this isn't real. You faked this." "I didn't fake anything." "Rebecca, please." But she stood up, backing away. "You're sick, Mom. You need help. Dad was right. You're paranoid. You're making up crazy stories. Rebecca, please sit down. Let me show you everything." "No." Her voice was loud enough that other customers turned to look. "I knew you'd do something like this. Dad warned me. He said you might try to turn me against him, that you might make up accusations. He said that because he knew I might figure out what he was doing." Malcolm stood up from his corner table. "Ms. Foster, please. Let your mother explain." Rebecca looked at Malcolm like he was a threat. "Who are you?" "Malcolm Grant. I'm a private investigator. I've been documenting your father's activities. Everything your mother is telling you is true and provable." "I don't believe you. Either of you." She grabbed her bag. "I'm calling Dad. Rebecca, if you call him, he'll know we're on to him. He'll destroy evidence. Please just give me 30 minutes. "No, you know what, Mom, I felt bad for you. I thought you were sick and needed help. But you're manipulative. You're trying to ruin Dad's life because you can't handle that your marriage is falling apart." Every word was a knife. "Rebecca, please. I'm done. Don't call me. Don't come back here. Just leave me alone." She walked out of the cafe. I sat there, frozen. Malcolm came over and sat down. "She didn't believe me," I whispered. "She's in shock. She needs time to process. What if she calls Jack? Then we move faster than planned." My phone buzzed. A text from Rebecca. "I told you to leave me alone. But since you flew all the way here, I'll say this one more time. Dad has been nothing but supportive of you. He's been trying to help you. And you repay him by making up insane accusations. You need serious help, Mom. Don't contact me again until you get it." Tears streamed down my face. I lost her. Malcolm put a hand on my shoulder. "No, you haven't. But we need to act fast now. If Rebecca contacts Jack..." My phone rang. Jack. I stared at the screen. If I didn't answer, he'd know something was wrong. I answered, keeping my voice steady. "Hey, hun." "Jen. Thank God. Rebecca just called me hysterical. She said you're in Barcelona, making crazy accusations about me poisoning you. Jack, Honey, I'm so worried about you. This confirms what I've been afraid of, you're having a breakdown. Please come home. Let me get you help. Real help. A psychiatrist, medication, whatever you need. His voice was so sincere, so concerned. If I didn't know better, I'd believe him. I'm not having a breakdown. Jen, you flew to Spain to accuse me of poisoning you. That's not rational behavior. Please, come home. Let's figure this out together. I have evidence, Jack. Evidence of what? Of everything. The scopolamine, the cocaine in my car, your plan to have me arrested, Betty Thornton, all of it. Silence. A long, heavy silence. When Jack spoke again, his voice was different, colder. I don't know what you think you know, Jennifer, but you're making a very big mistake. Am I? We'll see. Yes, we will. He hung up. Malcolm looked at me. We need to leave Barcelona, now. He knows? Yes, and he's going to accelerate his timeline. We need to get back to Portland before he can destroy evidence or make his move. We left the cafe and headed straight for the airport. I booked us on the next flight out, leaving in 4 hours. As we waited in the terminal, I texted Patricia. Rebecca didn't believe me. She called Jack. He knows everything. We're heading back now. Patricia's response, get home safe. We go to police tomorrow morning. We have enough. I looked at Malcolm. Is it enough without Rebecca? Yes. We have the lab results proving poisoning. Video of Jack and Betty planning your arrest. Financial records. Betty's pattern with Richard Caldwell. Margaret's testimony. It's enough. But Rebecca, we'll get Rebecca back. Once Jack is arrested, once she sees the full scope of evidence, she'll understand. She's not lost. She's just confused. I wanted to believe him. But as our plane lifted off from Barcelona, flying back across the Atlantic, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd just lost my daughter forever. And even if we won this fight, even if Jack and Betty went to prison, would Rebecca ever forgive me? Would she ever look at me the same way again? I didn't know. All I knew was that tomorrow we were going to war, and there was no turning back. The flight back from Barcelona felt endless. 9 hours in the air, watching the sun chase us west across the Atlantic. Malcolm worked on his laptop beside me, organizing files and evidence. I tried to sleep but couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Rebecca's face. The anger, the disbelief, the way she'd looked at me like I was a stranger. You're manipulative. You're trying to ruin Dad's life. Those words played on repeat in my mind. We landed in Portland Tuesday evening at 7:00 p.m. local time. My phone had been off during the flight. When I turned it on, it exploded with notifications. 15 missed calls from Jack. 23 text messages from Jack. Jennifer, where are you? Call me immediately. I'm worried about you. Rebecca told me what you said. We need to talk. Jen, please, let me help you. You're not well. Come home. And then 2 hours ago, the tone shifted. I know you're not at a spa. I know you flew to Barcelona. What are you doing, Jennifer? You need to come home now. We need to talk about this before you do something you'll regret. I'm calling the police if I don't hear from you by midnight. I'm filing a missing person report. You're clearly having a mental health crisis. Malcolm read over my shoulder. He's panicking. Good. Panicked people make mistakes. He's going to file a missing person report. What do I do? You call Patricia. Let her handle it. I called Patricia from the airport parking garage. She answered on the first ring. Jennifer, thank God. Where are you? Just landed in Portland. Jack's been calling nonstop. He's threatening to report me missing. Let him. If he reports you missing, that creates a paper trail of his concern for your welfare, which we can use against him. It shows he was tracking your movements, trying to control you. Don't respond to him yet. Come straight to my office. We're meeting tonight with everyone, Malcolm, Grace, Morrison, Stephanie, and Detective Sarah Dr. Emily Carter from Portland PD. The police, I thought we weren't going to them until... Plans changed when Jack found out, you know. He's going to make his move soon, either the anonymous tip about the drugs or something worse. We need to get ahead of him. Detective Dr. Emily Carter specializes in domestic fraud and poisoning cases. She's been reviewing our evidence all day. What if she doesn't believe us? She'll believe us. We have lab results, video evidence, audio recordings, financial forensics, and a pattern case with Betty Thornton. This is airtight, Jennifer. Come to my office, 8th floor Pioneer Tower. We're waiting for you. Malcolm drove us straight downtown. It was 8:30 p.m. when we walked into Patricia's law office. The lights were on the conference room full. Patricia stood at the head of a long table covered in documents and laptops. Grace Morrison sat to her right reading through files. Stephanie was there looking determined. And at the far end of the table, a woman in her late 30s wearing a Portland police badge on her belt. "Jennifer, this is Detective Sarah Dr. Emily Carter. She's with the Portland Police Bureau's Financial Crimes and Elder Abuse Unit." Detective Dr. Emily Carter stood and shook my hand. She had short black hair and intelligent eyes that assessed me carefully. "Mrs. Foster, I've been reviewing your case. I have to say in 15 years as a detective, I've rarely seen evidence this comprehensive. You've done excellent work documenting everything. I had help." I looked at Patricia, Malcolm, Grace, Thomas, all the people who'd believed me when my own daughter wouldn't. "Sit down," Patricia said. "We have a lot to cover and not much time." For the next hour, we went through everything. Patricia presented the evidence like a prosecutor at trial. Exhibit A lab results Dr. Sarah Dr. Emily Carter's toxicology report showing scopolamine in my blood and hair, proving 6 months of systematic poisoning. Exhibit B security footage. Video of Betty Thornton planting cocaine in my car while Jack smiled from the porch. Exhibit C audio/video surveillance recordings from the cameras Malcolm installed. Jack and Betty discussing their plan in explicit detail. Their affair. The timeline. The $2.4 million they planned to steal. Exhibit D financial forensics bank records showing $47,500 transferred from our joint account to Jack's private account. The $22,000 paid to Rebecca. Documentation of asset siphoning over 6 months. Exhibit E, Rebecca's manipulation emails between Jack and Rebecca showing how he exploited her debt to get her statement. Proof that she didn't know about the drugs or poisoning. Exhibit F, Betty's pattern. Stephanie's testimony and documentation about Betty's previous victim, Dr. Richard Caldwell. Medical records, death certificate, financial records showing the exact same pattern. Exhibit G, conspiracy evidence. The timeline Jack created. Betty's emails about doing this before. Their discussions about Phase 4 and Phase 5 of destroying me. When Patricia finished, the conference table looked like a war room. Papers everywhere. Laptops open to damning videos. Financial charts showing the money trail. Detective Dr. Emily Carter sat back in her chair. "This is one of the most well-documented cases I've ever seen. Mrs. Foster, you have enough here for multiple felony charges against both your husband and Ms. Thornton. So you believe me." "I believe the evidence, and the evidence is overwhelming." She opened her laptop. "Based on what I'm seeing, we're looking at for Jack Foster, felony poisoning with intent to cause harm, conspiracy to commit fraud, filing a false police report when he makes that anonymous tip, theft and embezzlement, witness tampering, manipulating Rebecca, for Betty Thornton, conspiracy to commit fraud, possession with intent to distribute controlled substances, racketeering pattern of behavior with previous victim, accessory to poisoning. Combined, they're looking at 15 to 20 years in prison if convicted on all counts." I felt a surge of vindication. Finally, someone with authority believed me. "What happens now?" I asked. Detective Dr. Emily Carter looked at Patricia. "That depends. We have 2 options. Option 1. I take all this evidence to the DA tonight. We get arrest warrants for Jack Foster and Betty Thornton. We pick them up tomorrow morning. Clean, simple, by the book. Option 2, we set a trap. We get them to confess everything on camera in a controlled environment where we can arrest them immediately with additional evidence." "Option 2 sounds risky," Grace said. "It is, but it's also more satisfying." Detective Dr. Emily Carter smiled slightly. "And it prevents them from claiming evidence was fabricated or taken out of context. If we can get them to confess on camera in front of witnesses, there's no wiggle room for their defense attorneys." Patricia leaned forward. "What kind of trap?" "Mrs. Foster goes home. She confronts them. We wire the house with police recording equipment admissible in court. We have officers positioned outside. The moment they confess to poisoning planting drugs conspiracy, we move in and arrest them." "That's dangerous," Malcolm said. "What if Jack gets violent?" "We'll have armed officers 60 seconds away, and Mrs. Foster will be wearing a panic button. 1 press and we're through the door." I thought about it. Option 1 was safe, clean, but Option 2 meant Jack and Betty would confess in front of cameras, in front of witnesses. There would be no ambiguity, no chance for them to spin a narrative later. And honestly, I wanted them to see my face when they realized they'd lost. "I want option 2, I said. Patricia looked concerned. "Jennifer, are you sure this puts you in direct confrontation with them?" "I'm sure. They spent 6 months destroying me systematically. I want them to see that I'm not destroyed. I want them to know I won." Detective Dr. Emily Carter nodded. "All right, then here's the plan." We spent Tuesday night planning every detail. Detective Dr. Emily Carter brought in 2 other officers, Detective Mike Rodriguez and Officer Lisa Park. They set up a command center in a surveillance van parked 2 blocks from my house. Wednesday morning at 6 a.m., a team of police technicians entered my house while Jack was at the gym. Thomas let them in and stood watch. In 45 minutes, they installed professional police recording equipment in the living room kit. Dr. Emily Carter and Jack's office backup cameras in case Jack found the ones Malcolm installed audio equipment that would capture every word in crystal clarity, a panic button disguised as a watch that I would wear. By 7 a.m., the technicians were gone. Thomas texted me, "All set. Mr. Foster never knew." The plan was simple. At 8 p.m. Wednesday night, I would come home. I'd tell Jack I needed to talk to him and Betty. I'd confront them with the evidence. And once they confessed even partially, Detective Dr. Emily Carter and her team would move in for the arrest. But there was one more element we decided to add. Patricia suggested it. "What if we live stream it?" I stared at her. "Live stream like on the internet?" "Yes. Facebook Live, YouTube, whatever platforms you have access to. We make this public in real time. That way, even if something goes wrong with the police equipment, we have hundreds or thousands of witnesses watching." "Is that legal?" Detective Dr. Emily Carter considered. "It's your house. You have the right to record in your own home. And if you choose to broadcast that recording live, that's your First Amendment right. Legally, it's solid." Malcolm nodded. "It also prevents evidence tampering. If thousands of people are watching live, there's no way to claim the footage was edited or fabricated." "And," Grace added, "it creates public pressure. Jack Foster won't just be facing criminal charges. He'll be facing public judgment. His reputation will be destroyed before the trial even begins." I thought about it. A live stream felt extreme, dramatic, like something from a movie, not real life. But then I remembered Jack's smile on the porch camera, Betty's laugh when she talked about taking my house, Rebecca's angry words in Barcelona. "Let's do it," I said. "Let's show the whole world what they did." Wednesday, 7:00 p.m. I sat in Patricia's office getting ready. I'd gone home briefly that afternoon to change clothes and pick up my laptop. Jack had been at work. I left before he came home. Now I wore jeans and a sweater, comfortable but presentable. Patricia had suggested I look normal, not aggressive or victimized. "You want to look strong, in control." Malcolm helped me set up the live stream. We'd use my Facebook account, my YouTube channel. I had one from years ago when I'd posted architecture tutorials, and we'd simulcast to both platforms. "Once you go live, it'll take a few minutes for people to join," Malcolm explained. "But these things spread fast, especially with a title like Husband Caught Poisoning Wife, The Truth Revealed." That's really the title. People need to know what they're watching. Trust me, within 10 minutes, you'll have thousands of viewers. Detective Dr. Emily Carter gave me final instructions. "The panic button is on your watch. Press it once. I don't care if you just feel uncomfortable and we're coming in. Don't try to be brave. You're not alone in this." Grace hugged me. "You're the strongest woman I know, Jennifer. You've got this." Stephanie squeezed my hand. "Give them hell. For Richard. For you. For all of us." At 7:30 p.m., I drove to my house on Skyline Boulevard. The house I'd designed. The house I'd lived in for 12 years. The house where Jack had poisoned me every morning. I parked in the driveway. Both Jack's Mercedes and Betty's BMW were there. Good. They were both home. I texted Jack. "I'm outside. We need to talk. You, me, and Betty. All of us. Right now." His response came immediately. "Jennifer, thank God. Come inside. Please. Let's talk about this calmly." I opened my laptop in the car. Malcolm had set everything up remotely. All I had to do was press go live. I did. The screen showed my face, the interior of my car, the house in the background. "Live the truth about Jack Foster and Betty Thornton." Viewers 3, 12, 47, 89. The count climbed fast. I took a breath and spoke to the camera. My name is Jennifer Foster. For 23 years, I was married to Jack Foster. We have a daughter, Rebecca. We built a life together in this house behind me, a house I designed myself. 3 weeks ago, I discovered that my husband has been systematically poisoning me. He put scopolamine, a drug that causes memory loss and confusion, in my morning tea for 6 months. He did this to make me seem mentally unstable. He and his mistress, Betty Thornton, then planted cocaine in my car. They planned to call police and have me arrested. Once I was in jail, Jack would take control of all our assets, $2.4 million in property investments, and my architecture business. I have evidence of all of this. Lab reports, video footage, audio recordings, financial records. Tonight I'm going to confront them in my living room, and you're going to watch it happen live. Because the truth deserves witnesses. Viewers 437, 823, 1,205. Comments started flooding in. Is this real? OMG, call the police. I know this woman, she's legit. This is insane. I turned the laptop camera toward the house. I'm going in now. Whatever happens, keep watching. Keep recording. The truth is about to come out. I picked up the laptop, angle it so the camera faced forward, and walked to my front door. Viewers 1847, I opened the door. The living room looked exactly as I'd left it 3 weeks ago. Same furniture, same family photos on the walls, same view of the valley through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Jack stood in the center of the room wearing khakis and a button-down shirt. He looked worried, concerned, the perfect image of a caring husband. Betty sat on the couch, legs crossed, wearing a black dress. She looked confident, almost bored. When Jack saw me carrying the laptop with the camera facing them, his expression changed. Jennifer, what are you doing? I set the laptop on the coffee table, angled so the camera captured both of them. The screen showed viewers 2734. I'm telling the truth, Jack. That's what I'm doing. Betty stood up. Is that a camera? Are you recording us? I'm live streaming, actually. Right now, almost 3,000 people are watching. YouTube and Facebook. Say hello. Jack's face went pale. Jennifer, turn that off. Right now. No. This is insane. You're having a mental breakdown. I'm not, but you've spent 6 months trying to make everyone think I am. I pulled out my phone and opened the file Patricia had prepared. Let me show everyone what you've been doing. I held up my phone to the laptop camera, showing the lab results. This is a toxicology report from Portland Forensic Services. It shows scopolamine in my blood and hair. 6 months of systematic poisoning. The scopolamine came from a bottle Jack kept in our bathroom. Thomas Rivera, our housekeeper, retrieved the bottle. It's been tested. It's poison. Viewers 4293. Jack's lawyer instincts kicked in. Those results are private medical information. You can't. They're my medical results. I can share them with anyone I want. I played the parking garage video next. Jack and Betty in his car talking. Jack's voice from the video. Anonymous tip to Portland police to Silver Honda CRV. By tomorrow afternoon, she'll be in custody. Betty's voice. And then everything will be ours. Viewers 6108. The comments exploded. He admitted it on camera. Call 911 now. This man belongs in prison. Betty lunged toward the laptop. Turn that off. But I grabbed it first, holding it out of reach. The camera wobbled but kept recording. Don't touch it, Betty. Or should I call you Elizabeth Caldwell? That's your real name, isn't it? She froze. Everyone watching, let me tell you about Betty Thornton. In 2018, she was married to Dr. Richard Caldwell, a cardiac surgeon in Seattle. She poisoned him with scopolamine, the same drug she helped Jack use on me. She filed false malpractice reports, got Richard's medical license suspended, had him committed to a memory care facility, and stole over $3 million from him. Richard committed suicide a year later. Stephanie had asked to be connected to the live stream audio. Through my phone speaker, her voice came through. I'm Stephanie, Richard's sister. Everything Jennifer said is true. Elizabeth Caldwell, now calling herself Betty Thornton, killed my brother, and she's trying to do the same thing to Jennifer. Viewers 8645. Betty's confident facade cracked. That's slander. I could sue you. It's not slander if it's true, and I have court documents, death certificates, financial records, all of it. I turned to Jack. You knew about Richard. You knew Betty had done this before, and you partnered with her anyway? Jack's face was red now, angry. You don't understand. You don't know what it's been like living with you. What's been like? Being married to a successful architect, a good mother, someone who loved you. You were holding me back, the words burst out of him. You and your little architecture firm. You were content with mediocrity. I wanted more. I deserved more. So you decided to poison me. I decided to start over, with someone who understands ambition. Betty put a hand on his arm. Jack stopped talking, but he couldn't stop. 23 years of resentment poured out. Do you know what it's like watching your wife get awards, get featured in magazines, while I'm just the money guy in the background? You got all the glory. I did all the work keeping us financially stable, and you got to be the creative genius. Viewers 11,234. So you poisoned me. For 6 months. Every morning you handed me tea with scopolamine in it. You watched me forget things, watched me cry, watched me think I was losing my mind. And you smiled. You needed to be brought down a notch. You needed to see what it felt like to be weak. The comments section was on fire. This man is a monster. Someone call the police. I'm recording this, he just confessed to poisoning her. I looked at Betty. What about you? What's your excuse? She crossed her arms. I don't need an excuse. Jack came to me. He asked for help. I helped him. The same way you helped Richard Caldwell. Richard was weak. He deserved what happened to him. He killed himself because of you. He killed himself because he couldn't handle losing his career. That's not my fault. Margaret's voice came through my phone speaker again. You destroyed him. You stole everything he had. And you felt nothing. Betty looked directly at the camera. You want to know the truth? Yes, I helped Jack plan this. Yes, I planted cocaine in Jennifer's car. Yes, I knew about the scopolamine. And yes, I did the same thing to Richard. You know why? Because men like them deserve to lose. They're arrogant. They think they're untouchable. Someone needs to take them down. Viewers 14,567. And Jennifer, Betty continued, she had it all. The house, the business, the reputation. She didn't deserve any of it. She's just another privileged woman coasting on talent she doesn't appreciate. So you tried to destroy me. Yes, and it would have worked if you hadn't been so paranoid. Jack grabbed her arm. Betty, shut up. They're recording. I don't care. Let them hear it. I did what I did, and I'd do it again. I looked at the laptop camera. Did you all hear that? Both of them. Confessing. To poisoning. To planting drugs. To conspiracy. To destroying lives. Viewers 18,903. Then I heard it. Sirens. Jack heard them too. His head snapped toward the window. What did you do? I called the police. Well, actually, the police have been listening this whole time. Detective Sarah Dr. Emily Carter and her team. They heard everything you just said. Red and blue lights flashed outside. Heavy knocks on the door. Portland police, open up. Jack's face went from red to white. You set us up. Yes, the same way you set me up. Except my evidence is real. The front door opened. Detective Dr. Emily Carter walked in, badge visible, followed by Officers Rodriguez and Park. Jack Foster, Betty Thornton, you're both under arrest. I'd imagined this moment 100 times, but seeing it happen in real life was different. Detective Dr. Emily Carter handcuffed Jack first. He didn't resist, just stood there in shock as she read him his rights. Jack Foster, you are under arrest for felony poisoning, conspiracy to commit fraud, attempted filing of a false police report, theft, and witness tampering. You have the right to remain silent. Officer Rodriguez handcuffed Betty. She was less compliant, pulling away, arguing. This is entrapment. You can't use that recording. Ma'am, you confessed on camera to multiple felonies. We can and will use every word. I want my lawyer. You'll get your phone call at the station. My laptop was still live streaming. The camera captured everything, Jack and Betty in handcuffs being led out of my living room, protesting and denying even as they'd just confessed to everything moments before. Viewers 22,847. Comments poured in faster than I could read. Justice, she did it. She got them. This is the most insane thing I've ever seen. Someone screen record this before it gets taken down. I'm a lawyer. Those confessions are 100% admissible. That man is evil. Detective Dr. Emily Carter turned to me. Mrs. Foster, we need you to come to the station to give an official statement. But first, she gestured to the laptop. You might want to say something to everyone watching. I picked up the laptop and looked into the camera. 22,000 people watching me. 22,000 witnesses to the truth. "My name is Jennifer Foster," I said. "For 6 months my husband poisoned me. He and his mistress tried to frame me for drug possession. They planned to steal $2.4 million and leave me in prison. But I fought back. I documented everything. I found allies. I exposed the truth. If you're watching this and you're in a relationship where something feels wrong, where you're being gaslit, controlled, manipulated, trust your instincts. Document everything. Find help. You're not crazy. You're not weak. And to the people who tried to destroy me, you lost. The cameras never lie." I closed the laptop. The live stream ended. Final viewer count 23,691 comments, 8,472. Shares 3,847. Patricia arrived at the house 10 minutes later. "Jennifer, I've been watching. That was incredible." "Is it over?" "Not yet. We still have the trial. But with those confessions plus all the evidence we've gathered, this case is open and shut." We drove to the Portland Police Bureau together. I gave my statement to Detective Dr. Emily Carter, answering questions for 3 hours. Patricia sat beside me the whole time, making sure everything was documented correctly. "What happens now?" I asked when we finished. "Jack and Betty will be arraigned tomorrow. The DA will formally charge them. Given the severity, poisoning, conspiracy, racketeering, and Betty's case, bail will be high. Probably $500,000 each. Can they pay that? Jack has assets he could liquidate, but with your emergency restraining order, he can't access your joint accounts. His private accounts have maybe $150,000 total. Betty has less. They'll probably sit in jail until trial." "How long until trial?" 4 to 6 months. But Jennifer, with the confessions you captured, they might plead guilty to avoid a longer sentence. What kind of sentence are we talking about? Poisoning alone is 7 to 15 years. Add conspiracy, fraud, attempted evidence planting. Jack's looking at 15 to 20 years. Betty's looking at 25 to 30, especially with the racketeering charge from Richard Caldwell's case. I sat there processing. Jack, my husband of 23 years, might spend the next 2 decades in prison. "What about Rebecca?" I asked quietly. Patricia's expression softened. "We'll work on Rebecca. Once she sees the evidence, the confessions, the full scope of what her father did, she'll come around." "What if she doesn't see?" "Then you give her time and space, and you hope that eventually she'll understand." I drove back to Grace's house that night. I couldn't go back to Skyline Boulevard yet. That house held too many memories, too many ghosts. Grace made tea, herbal not green tea, and I watched her make it to be sure, and we sat in her living room. "You did it," Grace said. "You actually did it." "We did it. You, Patricia, Malcolm, Thomas, Margaret. I couldn't have done this alone. But you were the one who stood up to them. You were the one who confronted them on camera. That took courage, Jennifer." I didn't feel courageous. I felt exhausted, emotionally wrung out. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I opened it. A photo loaded. It showed Rebecca in her dorm room in Barcelona holding her phone. On her phone screen was my live stream. Below the photo, a message, "Mom, I watched. I'm so sorry. I'm flying home tomorrow. I love you." I started crying. Deep, wrenching sobs that I couldn't control. Grace held me while I cried. "She knows now. Your daughter knows." She watched the whole thing. The whole world watched, and now everyone knows the truth. Thursday morning, Jack and Betty were arraigned. I watched from the gallery, sitting between Patricia and Grace. Jack wore an orange jumpsuit. His hair was disheveled. He looked 10 years older than he had yesterday. Betty looked furious, glaring at everyone. The judge, an older woman with gray hair and no-nonsense demeanor, read the charges. "Mr. Foster, you are charged with felony poisoning, conspiracy to commit fraud, witness tampering, and theft. Ms. Thornton, you are charged with conspiracy to commit fraud, racketeering, possession with intent to distribute, and accessory to poisoning. How do you plead?" Jack's public defender, he couldn't afford his own lawyer, now spoke, "Not guilty, Your Honor." Betty's lawyer said the same. The judge set bail at $500,000 each. Neither could pay it. They were remanded to custody until trial. As they were led out, Jack saw me in the gallery. Our eyes met. For a moment, I saw something in his face. Regret, shame, or just anger at being caught. I didn't care anymore. He was gone, led back to his cell. Friday afternoon, Rebecca's plane landed at PDX. I picked her up at arrivals. When I saw her coming through the doors pulling her suitcase, her face red from crying, I ran to her. We held each other in the middle of the terminal, both of us sobbing. "I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't believe you." "Shh, it's okay. You didn't know. I should have trusted you. I should have listened. Rebecca, stop. Your father manipulated you. He manipulated both of us." We drove back to Grace's house. For the next 3 hours, Rebecca and I talked. Really talked for the first time in months. I showed her everything. The lab results, the videos, the financial records, Betty's history with Richard Caldwell, the statement she'd signed, and how Jack had used it. "He paid me," Rebecca whispered, $22,000. I thought he was being a good dad helping me with my debt, but he was buying my testimony. "You didn't know, but I should have questioned it. I should have asked why he wanted that statement. I trusted him. He's your father. Of course you trusted him." Rebecca looked at me with red, swollen eyes. "Mom, can you ever forgive me?" "There's nothing to forgive. You were a victim, too. I said terrible things to you. In Barcelona, I called you manipulative. I told you to get help. You thought you were protecting me. You thought I was sick. Rebecca, you did what any daughter would do. How did you stay so calm when I rejected you in Barcelona when I didn't believe you? How did you not give up? Because you're my daughter. And I knew that once you saw the truth, you'd understand. I never gave up on you." She hugged me again. "I love you, Mom. I love you too, sweetheart." The trial took place in August, 6 months after Jack and Betty's arrest. It lasted 2 weeks. The prosecution presented our evidence lab results, video confessions, audio recordings, financial forensics, Stephanie's testimony about Richard. Jack's defense tried to argue that the live stream was entrapment, that the confessions were coerced, that I had manipulated the recordings. But you can't argue with 23,000 witnesses who watched live. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Guilty on all counts. Jack was sentenced to 18 years in prison. No parole for 12. Betty was sentenced to 28 years. No parole for 20. I sat in the gallery with Rebecca, Grace, Patricia, Malcolm, and Thomas. When the verdicts were read, Rebecca squeezed my hand. "It's over," she whispered. "Yes, it's over." I kept the house on Skyline Boulevard. At first I thought about selling it, too many bad memories, but Rebecca convinced me otherwise. "You designed this house, Mom. You built it. Don't let him take that from you." So I redecorated. New furniture in the master bedroom, new Kit Dr. Emily Carter cabinets, repainted walls, made it mine again. Thomas still works for me. He's more than a housekeeper, now he's family. Grace and I have coffee every Saturday morning. She's become my closest friend. Rebecca transferred back to University of Oregon. She's majoring in psychology now, specializing in trauma and manipulation. "I want to help people like us," she said. "People who've been gaslit and controlled." I'm proud of her. My architecture firm is thriving. The publicity from the case, while traumatic, brought attention to my work. New clients, bigger projects. I hired 3 new associates and opened a second office. I started a blog called Trust But Verify: One Woman's Fight Against Poisoning and Fraud. I share my story, offer advice to others in toxic relationships, explain the warning signs of poisoning and gaslighting. The blog has 50,000 followers. I get emails every week from women and men who recognize their own situations in my story. Some have left abusive relationships. Some have documented evidence and gone to police. Some just wanted to say thank you. I visit Stephanie once a month. We've become friends bonded by Betty's cruelty. She's helping me advocate for stronger laws around scopolamine access and coercive control. It's Christmas Eve. Rebecca and I are decorating the tree in the living room, the same room where I confronted Jack and Betty on that live stream. Thomas is in the Kit Dr. Emily Carter making tamales, a recipe from his mother. Grace stops by with cookies and wine. We sit by the fireplace, the 4 of us talking and laughing. Rebecca hangs an ornament on the tree, a small camera-shaped decoration she bought online. "What's that?" I ask. She smiles. "A reminder. The cameras never lie, and neither do we." I hug my daughter. My strong, brave daughter who was manipulated but found her way back to the truth. "Mom," Rebecca says softly, "do you ever miss him, the man you thought he was?" I think about that. About the Jack I married at 23. The Jack who cried when he said his vows. The Jack who held me when I went into labor with Rebecca. Did that man ever exist, or was he always this person just better at hiding it? I miss the life I thought I had. I finally say, but I don't miss the lies, and I don't miss him. Do you think you'll ever trust someone again, romantically, I mean? Maybe someday, but I'm in no rush. Right now I have everything I need. I look around the room. You, Grace, Thomas, this house, my work, that's enough. Rebecca nods. Me neither. I'm done with relationships for a while, but when I do date again, I'm going to be so careful. I'm going to watch for the signs. The signs: control, isolation, gaslighting, making you question your reality. I learned that in my psych classes, and I saw it with Dad. The way he isolated you made you doubt yourself, turned me against you. Those are all abuse tactics. You're going to help a lot of people, sweetheart. I hope so. We sit quietly for a moment, watching the fire crackle. Then Grace raises her wine glass. A toast to new beginnings. Thomas raises his glass. To truth. Rebecca raises hers. To family. I raise mine. To the cameras that saved my life, and to the people who believed me when it mattered most. We clink glasses and drink. Outside, snow begins to fall rare for Portland. It dusts the windows and the deck, turning the valley below into a winter wonderland. Inside the house is warm, safe, mine. I built this house with my own hands, my own vision. Jack tried to take it from me. He failed. And now, sitting here with the people I love, I understand something important. You can poison someone's body. You can manipulate their mind. You can try to steal everything they've built. But you can't destroy someone who refuses to be destroyed. I am Jennifer Foster. I am a survivor. I am free. And I won.